There comes a time in the life of every guitar player's YouTube channel where they go on an epic quest to learn how to play the intro to Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson. For me, today is that day, and I'm bringing you guys along for the ride. Ass. Men's asses. Look at that dog. Nope. It's gonna be a long day. Hey kids, it's your good buddy Uncle Ben, and today we are worshiping at the altar of one of the greatest Stratocasters that history has ever seen to celebrate the 70th anniversary of this glorious instrument right here, the Fender Stratocaster. Today I'm going to be mashing on this lovely new Fender American Ultra Strat that I got from the fine folks over there at Sweetwater, who have a bevy of 70th anniversary Strats for you guys to check out. So be sure to click on the affiliate link down there in the video description to help me celebrate the 70th birthday of one of the most important instruments ever made. You know guys, if you scroll here through YouTube, you're going to find a million different videos with titles like I practiced Cliffs of Dover for 5 years, here's what happened, or I only practiced Cliffs of Dover for a month, here's the results. I thought about adding to the pile myself, but as they say, ain't nobody got time for that. So on today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys along as I try to learn the iconic intro solo to Cliffs of Dover, but just in about a day because I don't really have a whole lot of time to work with here. Plus, I know you guys love watching me fuck up. I'm gonna fuck up a lot in this video, because this shit is hard. Really fucking hard. As always, this video is brought to you guys by everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Sign up today for all the goodies, including bonus videos, downloadable tabs, backing tracks, and so much more. This week, everybody who supports my channel is going to get access to a very special, super extended, and ad-free cut of this video. I know you want that. So don't delay, sign up today, patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. That's an Axer FX patch that I made called Ben Dover. Pretty good one, right? That's available for download over there on my Patreon page, so be sure to grab that whenever you sign up today.
You will also get my own transcription to go along with this lesson. Wow, look at that fucking shit.
It's about 11 o'clock right now, so I should have time to go through and transcribe this thing before I gotta take a break and get some groceries in me, so let's jump right in. My mama raised me in the stone cold Steve Austin train of thought, which means DTA, don't trust anybody. I'm not really a big fan of a lot of online tabs. I would just rather make my own. I memorize it better that way, and I can use the stuff that I already know about an artist to help me refine a transcription more better. So what I've done here is I've taken the original track and I threw it here into Logic. And the cool thing is I can use the flex time function to slow it down and make it easier to make out some of those really fast passages. And it preserves the audio pretty well. Check this out. It's a lot of notes. From what I could make out, I think that it starts here. I think that that's right. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so we're starting off here in E. A lot of minor pentatonic, minor hexatonic stuff from what it sounds like. And the first position that we hear, kind of Clapton-y phrase. Be sure to overbend that G to A. It's like just a little bit past A. It makes it sound really raunchy and cool. Now after this we get into some of the faster phrases. Let's hear that first one again. That goes by faster than a cheetah in a speedboat. Okay, so as I go through this, on my transcriptions, you're going to be noticing a lot of my notes about the picking, where pull-offs go, all that jazz. This is where I feel like a lot of transcriptions of this have missed the mark a little bit. They're just not taking into account some of Eric's picking strategies. I learned a lot about Eric's picking style through Troy Grady's amazing Cracking the Code series here on YouTube. I recommend you go and check those out. It's really amazing stuff. It covers all of his tendencies as a downwards pick slanting player, which is a technique that I've talked about many times here on my channel. Pretty tough. But these are great phrases to learn if you want to understand all the mechanics of downwards pick slanting. Namely the down to down economy picking style. There's basically rarely ever any up to up. And the fact that he uses upstrokes as string changing mechanics. There's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. One thing you can always count on with Eric's playing is that if he's just done a downstroke on a string and the next note's on a higher string, it's more than likely also going to be a downstroke. Now you'll notice after that, he does an upstroke, which allows him to change strings in either direction, either going to a low string or a high string. Whenever possible, do down to down economy picking and upstroke string changes, and you're automatically going to be playing this a lot more like Eric himself. There's one phrase right there that you really got to watch out for. So you'll notice that's down, up, hammer on. That way you can do an upstroke here on the high E string. Now typically if you would have followed that down to down economy picking thing I talked about earlier, you would have done a down to down right there. That would have left you stranded when you're trying to get back up here to the B string for the next note. So every now and then Eric will use a hammer on or a pull off as a way to go ahead and get his pick under the next string that he's going to. That way he can leave it with an upstroke, as is the case with that lick. That's the hardest part for me, is those damn quick bends. The picking stuff actually kind of comes naturally to me, but it's those quick bends in there that aren't really my forte. I think Eric does those with his middle finger, which is kind of Clapton style, you know. I suck at that. I'm not good at those at all, so I kind of have to use my third finger and then use my little finger to grab that D note right there. It's kind of a pain in the ass. That's tough. Okay, so the next phrase that we come to after this is kind of up for debate. Let's check it out. Whenever I was transcribing this part, I had a really hard time knowing if I was playing this in the right position, simply because of the tone that Eric uses. It makes his string to string sound extremely consistent. It makes it really hard to tell what set of strings he's even playing any lick on, because it's all so smooth and fat sounding. So at this point, I sent a video message to my buddy, who is the biggest Eric Johnson authority that I know, my main man, Andy Wood. I sent him the video in that position to see what he thought about it, and he sent me this video back showing me the positions that he's always used.
Yo, I'm about to get a lunch rig. The thing that I see him do a lot, or I've stolen that he is that lick is...
You could absolutely play it that way, and it seems like that's something that Eric would do. I was really curious about this, and so I sniffed here around YouTube, and I found this video over on another channel.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
so this is pretty interesting, and the thing that you got to remember about this is Eric plays this different every single time. The intro to Cliffs of Dover is kind of his showcase to really improvise and go wherever his head is at that exact moment that night. So unfortunately, there's no way to really know for sure where Eric played this, but this seems about right, and the fact that Eric jumped down to that position to play it in that video that I just showed you makes me think that I might be onto something right here. And again, there's lots of down-to-down economy picking right there. I love that little partial bend on that G note. Again, it's like kind of out of tune. It's bluesy whenever you play it that way. That's a cool one because you have a little bit of those fives and then some kind of fours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. mixed into there. Kind of that mix of his economy picking style and his alternate picking style all in one lick. Shit. Tricky thing for me right there is getting that first finger down to the D note. That's kind of an awkward move for me. Now, whenever I first tried learning Cliffs of Dover, it was years and years and years ago, and it was with one of my guitar students. And this was like early 2000s. I'm gonna say like 2005, 2006, way before I was doing YouTube, way before we had all these amazing live videos of these legendary players playing this stuff so we could see how they were actually doing it anytime we wanted to. I had the official tab book, which is, I don't think, entirely accurate, and I knew nothing about Eric's technique set. At that time, all that I knew is that good guitar players used alternate picking, and that a lot of them used a combination of alternate picking and maybe a few pull-offs to help them change strings. So whenever I was trying to learn this stuff the first time, with the poor student that chose to want to work on it, shout out to Grayson Hester. I know you're watching this video. I'm sorry I showed you how to play this all wrong. I didn't know any better. But I remember trying to attack this stuff without the down-to-down pickslanting stuff, without the hybrid picking. I didn't know he was doing any of that stuff. I thought hybrid picking was reserved for country guitar players, you know? So I remember trying to show Grayson this stuff back in the day and just being like, this is impossible. Eric Johnson is a god, you know? And then after I learned more about the pickslanting stuff, it's like, oh, actually if you play by Eric's rules, it's kind of doable. Okay, so far we should have something like this. That leads us up to those beautiful tall triads that Eric is known for. These are played across the A, D, and B strings. They got some stretches in them. And what we're going to do is to hybrid pick the B string on all of these. So use 2 downstrokes, and then use your middle finger to pluck the note on the B string. Nope, that's not it. I'm guessing about the positions in the string change right there. It kind of sounds like the tone shifts, like it's going from the high E string to the B string right there, and it does make it easier to get into this shape more smoothlier. Initially I played it this way, and I had a really hard time finding how to get into that next chord shape right there, so I think he's going here onto the high E string. So after this we get to the famous flagpole raising lick, which is this pedal tone lick. We're going to be using our middle finger to pluck the high G note over and over again while we cycle through these other notes using just downstrokes. And then we have this really fast flurry of notes that scares the shit out of me. Let's check it out. Ugh. Okay, let's take a minute on this one. I think that's the phrase. Let's check that again. Ah, that's so tough to nail. There it is. Oh, this is gonna take a minute. Okay, this phrase right here is the scariest one for a lot of players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5-note phrase, and it's got to be played with down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. So there's a couple of strategies you could employ right here. I'm kind of doing both, honestly. Whenever I do that downstroke on the A string, I'm trying to make it just curved enough to where it leaps over the D string and crashes back down onto the G for another downstroke. But that's not extremely reliable, so I'm also doing a little bit of muting over here with the left hand. Notice how my first finger here is kind of dampening those next couple strings, the A and D strings right there. That's so just in case, whenever I'm hitting this downstroke and trying to get back to the G, if I accidentally hit the D string, you won't hear it. I'm kind of swiping through that string effectively, plowing through it, and it's muted so you don't hear it. That way you can get back to the G. This is about the only time that you'll see him do a downstroke on a higher string to an upstroke on a lower string, inside picking. I think he can get away with it because there's no risk of hitting any other strings up here. So he finishes off with that big upstroke right there. Hey, actually I got it that time. Eric is a master of playing these very planned out pinch harmonics. What he's doing is essentially placing his pick where that fret would be an octave up. So in this case, it's this F note that you'd have on fret number 18. He's essentially imagining where 12 frets above that would be. So where would fret 30 be? And finding that little harmonic node, which is very small in particular, just the way I like them, and doing that pinch harmonic right there to get that really pure octave up kind of sound. God, that is so hard. Whenever I have licks like this that are kicking my ass and it's due to like a technique transition or maybe a weird string skip or finger shift or something, a lot of times what I like to do is this freeze frame kind of technique where I'll simply play right up to the problem, you know, right where the problem starts, and I will stop right there on that note. Might sound something like this. Whenever I have like a technical traffic jam like that, and I kind of use that freeze frame technique, it helps me put all my focus on right where the problem area is. Because if I'm worried about that problem area that I'm probably going to slip up on, plus I'm thinking about the next, 37 notes that he plays after it, it can make my attention really waver and falter, and I don't really give that problem area the attention that it deserves because I'm thinking ahead of myself. Oh, here's a fun tip for you guys who are trying to ruin this song for yourself. So a while back, I was practicing the chorus section, I was practicing that in the living room this one day. I was playing it kind of slow, about like that tempo. And my wife happens to walk in and she goes, "Why are you practicing that Casey and JoJo song?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, all my life." I can't unhear it, and now you can't either. And now we do the wonderful, not monotonous at all process of getting the whole damn thing up to speed. Nope, that's not it. Nope. God, that's hard. God, that is murder. Yeah, I got ahead of myself on that hybrid pick part. Let's try that one more time here. That was pretty sloppy. Okay, so it's just about supper time. I've been practicing on this thing on and off all day. Let's take a swing at it and see how it sounds. Well, it's by no means perfect, and I've still got very many BPMs to go and a lot to clean up, but I'm gonna say for a day's work, not too shabby. That is super challenging, really fun to play, and definitely gonna be one that I continue working on. Thank you guys so much for watching and liking this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. And don't forget, if you want to see an extra long cut of this video with no ads, as well as download my transcription, be sure to sign up today over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. And be sure to let me know in the comments section what tune you'd like to see me tackle next. Well guys, it's been fun as always, but now I think I'm gonna put down this guitar for a second and probably take the dogs on a nice walk before the sun goes down out there. I recommend you guys get away from the computer machine, grab that guitar, and get to mashing on some ropes. Less clicking, more picking.